We touch base with the PEP and, of course, the candidate for Port of Spain North and St. Anne's West, Phillip Edward Alexander. No stranger to the program. We had a conversation, I believe, sometime last year. Great to see you again, and all the best heading into the elections, obviously, on Monday. The grandmother, I said, of all elections, it's around the corner. A big one. Welcome, Phillip. Good to see you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me again. Good morning to all your viewers and listeners around the world.
That's right. I want to start off with a picture we saw last evening. I'm seeing here endorsement, it seems like, from Mr. Nahus, who was, I know, within the bosom of the NT and other political parties. You think that kind of endorsement and that kind of collaboration could help with your push for Monday?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it's just that everybody's trying to get on the side of good versus evil. And the United National Congress Coalition of Interest is the party that is representative of all of the people who want change, who want a better country, that has a realistic chance of winning office so that you can effect change. At the end of the day, that is the whole purpose of an election.
Understood. I mean, there are many, and I know you would have explained via the news cycle and the public domain your decision to become part of that coalition the coalition within the walls of the UNC. But I know there would have been, especially from you, because again, your style is very different, very frank, very to the point. Many would have been said about said UNC and their leader over the years. What really was the core and the true essence of that transition and the leaning towards UNC at this point in time?
Kamala and I both, our policies have aligned themselves almost on a parallel track over the most recent years. Issues like property tax, the WEF, the WHO, the COVID experience, a lot of stuff that she says, she's adopted a lot of PEP policies, and I want to thank her for that, because at the end of the day, we wanted those policies to become law. We want to deal with the financial service sector and make sure that the average person could access finance and credit so that they could start a business. Issues like that, canceling the property tax so that the average person could work hard, own a home, create generational wealth for their children and children's children. Those are the things that we see eye to eye on. And privacy, the right to privacy, freedom of speech. These are all issues you've known me over the years fighting for these issues. And they've become pillars of the United National Congress over the most recent years. And I came to find that they were more ideology, more policy that united us than divided us. And it made no sense, two of us fighting, splitting votes, when we could come on board and bring whatever we have to the table and get those policies and those laws effective so that Trinidad and Tobago could become the better country that we all want. Because that's why I'm in politics. I'm not in politics for office, for position, for a contract, for a shortcut. I'm not interested in blue lights. I just want a better country. When I said on March the 2nd, 2024, that I'm just here to get Kamala elected, it was because of that. That was it for me. When I came to join with her, and also it's because, and I'll say this publicly, I was the leader of the largest third force outside of the PNM and the UNC that never had a recycled politician, and we built a formidable party, and we held nothing back, and we fought every by-election and every local election, every general election, and I can tell you that under the current division in society, there is absolutely zero hope for any third parties, no matter your best intentions. There are a lot of people who have very good intentions and are very good people, but they're not understanding the political lay of the land. And this election is not an election to play around with. We need the current government to take a time out. We need to get back in there and fix this country so that the average citizen can have a good, enjoyable, decent, peaceful life. That's the goal, that's the intention. And anybody who wants that could find a home.
Let me ask.
Coalition of interest.
I mean, if it's one thing the nation knows is that you would have been one to raise your voice. You've picked certain fights over the years and you've tried to champion the cause of the people. I want to ask you, though, based on that and that kind of presence and bravado, I mean, many see you as an alpha male. You know, you're a kind of political tanto, a strong man, as it were. Very frank, right? Very frank, very outspoken. Could you work within the context of a said coalition? Could you really be a team member and work under the likes of Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the other strong men also who would have stepped forward and are now part of this grand coalition, some of the labor leaders? Walk me through the working dynamics of the personalities within the space.
Last night at a refresher meeting after the St. Joseph meeting, I pointed out to Satish Ramsaran, who's sitting there with me. I said, look around this room. And you would see some of the most powerful people in their respective fields, in politics, in law, in industry, in labor, all sitting together, breaking bread together, all under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessar. She leads with a gentle, firm hand. She knows the people that she's dealing with. She's not getting into bed with people whose ideologies or policies don't align with hers. So there's no real reason for conflict. Everybody's being straight and upfront. It's not juvenile politics. It's a very mature situation where everybody's saying, look, this is what I hope to accomplish in the 5 years that I get to contribute. If I get to contribute, this is the country I want, this is the place I see. The labor people have their views, the legal people have their views, I have my views. And being a strong alpha male, and I love that whole description, but I want to tell you something. I want to say this to a lot of potential up-and-coming politicians who are asking for my guidance. To be a real good leader, you have to be a real good follower, because what you want people to give you when you are in absolute charge, you better give that to the people who are in absolute charge over you. When I decided that I was joining with the United National Congress, I was so clear in my mind, and I explained to Levi, somebody who works with me, who was driving home after the meeting last night. So I was ready to take off my orange shirt and put on a yellow shirt. You must go into things with both eyes wide open, knowing all the pitfalls that exist, so that you can avoid them. My objective is a better Trinidad and Tobago. Kamala's objective is a better Trinidad and Tobago. I sat in a room full of people who want that. More than anything, that's what we want, and I think that that will keep it firm, strong, and together.
If the coalition is able to get over the line on Monday and you're given office, could we see, or is there the capacity for a diplomatic Phillip Alexander? Is there a capacity to tone it down with some of the rhetoric? Is that going to be something of the past?
But absolutely, in the last 6 months, Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the leader. I've actually put out videos. I remember one video I put out, and she messaged me and said, rethink that. Now, people don't really get to tell Phillip Edward Alexander, rethink that, but Kamala does, because I trust and respect her overall vision, and she has responsibility for the army that we're in. She has responsibility for where we're going. So, I mean, I don't want to draw a reference to Donald Trump, but you see post-election, pre-election, politicking is different to governance. My business style, my family style is not about fighting. In fact, a lot of the stress and bacchanal that comes with politics is not my first love, but is par for the course in the politics. And to whom much is given, much is expected, and I am a strong man with a big voice, and at the end of the day, if I have to use my strength and my voice to crush the opposition that wants to cause drama, that wants to cause problems for people, then I know how to do that, because I want to sleep at night knowing that the country's safe, the people's safe, that nobody lining up in the grocery and trying to explain to their children. When I tell you, I hear these things and it breaks my heart. Mummies explaining to their little children why they paying the bill with 2 different cards and some cash, why he can't or she can't take that into the trolley because we have it home already. When you know what's going on, is the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago is so ridiculous to the average person that I want that dealt with, and we're going to deal with that together. We're going to fix these things and make Trinidad a place where we don't even need wrought iron and burglar proofing again. We're going to stop the drug trade, stop the gun trade, secure the borders, make Trinidad the country that everybody wants to live in, where government is not intrusive, where government is servant to the people. That's what we want. That's what I want. And yes, in that scenario, without battles and wars to fight, Phillip Alexander is the calmest and most lovable teddy bear you could ever know.
Well, let me ask, as you hit the campaign trail, what's the feedback you're getting? I mean, obviously, Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, it's currently held by the incumbent and the current Prime Minister. What's been the campaign like for you going through the areas? And more so, what's your vision for the constituency?
First of all, I will never accept Shortjan as the Prime Minister. He's an interloper, he's a usurper. What Keith Rowley did there was foisting somebody on the country. He was never elected, and I will never accept that, and I will never refer to him as Prime Minister. That said, he is the current holder of the Member of Parliament position for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. There are places in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West like St. Clair, Federation Park, Ellerslie Park. They don't need no government to help them with any of their goods and services. Their business fixed. The people that needed Cascade, St. Anne's, Belmont, Gonzales. Last night at 8 o'clock in the night, I was in Gonzales sharing hampers. And we did a video, and I prolonged the video because the poverty and the desperation, people have so much need, and they're so thankful for anything that they can get. And you know, I just want to say to the people of Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West that has given me so much love, the people of Casablanca and Cascade. I mean, I've been up there 4 times. Normally, you don't get to see your whole constituency, but I've been up in Casablanca 4 times because the youths up there, you hear this like cliches, and I don't want to talk cliche talk, but we wasted so much vital human energy with these little young men smoking weed and liming on the block because there's nothing for them, no vision for them, no hope or opportunity for them. And we need to fix that. People come on your show and they talk that from a feral kind of view, from looking on from outside through the mist and the vapor. We actually have plans. We know how to redevelop industry, which is training and the leash for that. We want to put into place the things that will change these constituencies. My vision for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West starts with the Queen's Park Savannah. I want a Queen's Park Savannah that families could be there 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I want Belmont, Cascade, Federation Park, St. Clair, Port of Spain meeting one another in that park. I want children playing football. I want a proper walking, jogging track around the circumference, and I'll fight for that. I want safety, security. I want jobs. I want to go through the back of Belmont and open it up to Lady Young Road, Morva, and try and see if we can organize some proper industrial, commercial redevelopment spaces where we could put inducements to businesses to come and open labor-intensive business because people want jobs. This election, I said on nomination day when they asked me, is about money in your pocket. Crime and all of that is a function of the fact that so many people in this country catching their tail. And we could fix it. These young people don't want to be criminals. They don't want to be running from police. They don't want to be playing shoot 'em up Charlie with one another, killing one another in their young lives. They want a life. They want to be able to have a girlfriend, to become a wife, to become a father and a mother, and all the things that we want. Everything that the people in St. Clair want, the people in Casablanca, Gonzales, and Belmont want. Why we can't make it so as government? Why we can't be the rising tide that lifts all those boats to one place? That's the plan. That's the vision. The vision for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West is crime-free, traffic-free, water retention ponds, proper building spaces, spatial development plan that includes everybody, that makes it possible for homeowners to live side by side peacefully. The noise abatement laws. We want to reach, now a lot of the national policies affect your constituencies, but the banks in Trinidad and Tobago has made it almost impossible for the average person to have savings. We want to fix that. I really want to be a part of that, knowing that in the second half of my life, I made the country a better country than I met, and I know that a lot of my colleagues in the United National Congress Coalition of Interest want the same thing. And I think that if we are as successful as it looks like we're going to be, Trinidad is up for a very good 5 years to come.
Well, as always, Phillip, Edward Alexander, a sincere thanks. I mean, lots of commitments, but I'm happy we got a chance to touch base. I'm happy you took the time to spend with us this morning, and I really want to wish you all the best going into the election here on Monday.
Brother, if I could, I just have one thing I would like to announce.
Go right ahead.
This evening at 6:30, we're having the mother of all political rallies at St. John's Ambulance Hall. It starts at, the gates open I think at 5, it starts at 6:30. From 6 o'clock, our team, the PEP teams will be there giving out flags and jerseys till they run out, but we printed as much as we could. So we're gonna have them and giving out to people. You should come early and get a chair because all these UNC coalition rallies, if you look at St. Joseph, I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as we come into the last couple of days, This is going to be one of the last ones, and it's going to be massive, and it's going to be the one for the West. So everybody living in the West, if you want to come and see all the big players and listen to Kamala Prasad Bisesa and let her explain to you how the country is going to be run post April 28th, come out this evening from our 6:30 St. John's Ambulance Hall opposite Gene Pear Complex. Listen, I want to thank you so very, very much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for your good wishes. And I guess I'll see you on the campaign trail, and I'll see you when we get in sworn in.
Yeah, post April 28th, I'm sure we'll get a chance to touch base. All the best, Phillip.
Amen.
For sure, Phillip Edward Alexander from PEP stepping into the election 2025. We take a pause. See you after the break.